again, the belief is there. It's actually surprising to see G2 at such a low fan percent, Lemon. So yeah, this is people are believing in the Optic roster here, but again, they are facing off against G2. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I think G2, we said that sometimes they have slow starts to tournaments, but the fact that they come out guns blazing with a 3-0 over Koi tells me, and Koi is a strong team coming from the qualifier, so I don't discount what G2 did at all. And if G2 are playing this good on the day, I think this is going to be a serious challenge for Optic.
It's going to be hard for Optic, but I think also manageable for both teams to win it. I see it going to 5. I see this being actually a very close matchup. I was saying earlier to our wonderful producer that whoever picked these matches did a great job for the mainstream. Previously seeing a close one when we saw Shopify versus version 1. Yeah, it was a 3-0. There were still fantastic games. A long shot to start. Oh, but that does not sneak its way in. Atomic counting his lucky stars that he had his time, and then a full court air dribble. JNaps, what a treat to kick off this first game.
Well, Optic fans not pleased about that one when he just get the bar down situation before, and that's why you should never give up trying to save. You never know how the counterattack is going to go as well. G2 with a quick first goal.
I mean, that was devastatingly close as well on the G2 goal line. I always like seeing when it's that close, Lemon, like the replay that someone puts on Twitter afterwards of, you thought it was close? Oh, it was even closer than you ever could have anticipated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Atomic. Tried to slow down the ball, spits up Chicago. Good challenge from AJ. Wins that, clears it out. Magic Bear with the follow-up. Optic with the save by Atomic. I didn't even see him there through the smoke and everything. Man, and that's why Reddles and Friends of Optic, #1 in demos. You gotta watch out their physicality, just like version 1.
What is it with teams coming on the mainstream and just thinking, I'm going to pad these demo stats? Don't you worry. I'm going to go Insanio style and make sure that I pick up demo after demo and close down those backlines. But in a minute and a half, it's still G2 with that lead. The midfield sees Atomic receive the ball from JNaps. Low boost, though. So he's going to have to head back into his own half. Atomic just a little touch on, so AJ has got his time to take. And AJ and Magic Bear, I feel they've really started to come into their own mechanical own too. We've seen them individually perform previously on your Alpines, your Torrent, seeing AJ, of course, previously on FaZe as well. But seeing them on Optic, I feel they've not been able to stretch their mechanical legs too much. But they've definitely taken on that same kind of idea, that same kind of role that we've seen come in from version 1 as well, with 2 incredibly mechanical players, and then the more solid, grounded, not as mechanical Maestro-focused third man in Rettles.
Oh, AJ almost tucked it in. Rettles with the follow-up, both stopped. And yeah, I hope those legs are stretched, Stumpy, because whoever wins this match goes up against the winner of Complexity version 1. Where if you're imagining Complexity getting out of that, you're facing one of the best teams in RLCS. So good luck with that.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, nothing more needs to be said yet. Yeah, good luck, lol. It's going to be hard. But that's what you get, you know, when you're going through the upper brackets. The teams just keep getting better. But theoretically, so do you. And you're going to be a terrifying challenger for whoever you come up against as well. The midfield sees home to Rettles, gets intercepted by JNaps and Magic with enough boost and a demo to help him out too. 150 going low, but not enough beans on that bad boy. And can be blocked away from the net by JNaps. AJ misses the touch central, instead heads back into that corner with the boost steal too. And this will be a continued press by Optic.
Does feel like a continued press, and now they're bringing in demos. They got an open net, 2v0. Guess what? It does go in. Optic, I've kept them trapped there for so long, and what I love about Optic's offense is their follow-up is immediate.
Yeah, there's close shadows too, where Rettles, I think, saw or whoever it was who didn't get the demo, waited, could have taken that shot too, but because they knew there was time, there was opportunity for them to take a much cleaner shot, no weird angles or car turns needed. Fell back down towards AJ to be able to get it. Magic Bear onto the backboard, but Atomic has to intelligently shut that one down. Otherwise, that's going to potentially be a goal. Those double taps getting more and more home for these players. Magic Bear removing JNaps from the pitch. And then Rettles getting rid of Chicago. The man at top of the demos list so far, beating out Common. For any RLCS veterans, you know how hard that is. Rettles with the air drill bump, but the goal line save! Not quite enough. AJ coming in to tap it home.
G2 have been saving as much as they can, but when you bring the bulldozer out, Rettles almost just got it done by himself. G2 with 7 saves and not as many shots. It was like Optic are taking a more commanding presence in these last 90 seconds, only with a 1-goal lead. And it feels like they're just hunting for prey. Atomic's now removed. Chicago buys time in the midfield with some good 50s, but it's still Optic with the ball. It's Magic Bear to AJ's now stealing the corner boosts from G2. This is how you keep them there for longer.
I love these passes from Optic too. They're not shying away from the pass in the 6-yard box. That's another one back from Rettles towards AJ, but as Rettles is removed from the pitch. Theoretically, G2 can work out of their own half, but they've struggled to just for 10 seconds or so there. Chicago now challenging versus AJ. AJ is going to be the benefactor of that ball towards the backboard, towards the goal. AJ snipes it from afar. The man makes it 3.
It's just off of Chicago trying to go for it. AJ wins the challenge all the way downfield. I mean, G2 couldn't even save that. You don't even need a demo to open that up. 44 seconds. G2 gotta wake up and smell the coffee. They came out swinging in their first match, but Optic is a tough challenge.
Yeah, Optic are a team that, as we've been saying, they needed to turn it on towards the end of, or rather, I guess, towards the end of the season, but the start of this split, and they did so, getting that 3rd place finish. For Chicago and G2 wanting to make sure that they don't just romp home with it. With 25 seconds remaining, it's just that 3-1 scoreline. JNat's backboard sees Atomic central with 70 boost. He can take this solo for a while. Will forgo that ball back towards Atomic. That's crossbar down, and it's Magic Bear to tap it away from both Sharks on G2's side.
Oh, JNaps right down to Atomic. He's trying to read the bounce on the ball, passing it to the box, denied by Optic. Even in the last few seconds, you get the goodbye goal right at the goal line. Not going to happen, but Optic with game 1.
Yeah, a really strong show from Optic there too. And T-Bates, I'm sure, over on the G2 esports stream is having a proper little cry and a proper little whine saying,
this is our
why do we have to be on the main stream? That's when we lose. Sorry, T-Bates. We don't make the rules, pal.
I like that impression.
Thanks, man. It sounds a lot like T-Bates.
Yeah, good first set. Again, a chat. They're right so far. I mean, that was a good explosive start. It looked like, okay, G2 with an early goal. It's like, okay, maybe this might not go the way chat wanted it to, but a good turnaround. You like to see the continued uprise. I hate seeing a team do well and you think they're going to stay there and then they fall off again. Like, I mean, again, I have a lot of hype behind M80. We're like, okay, look, it's consistent. And then Matey, sorry.
Thank you.
And then it didn't. So, yeah, but by the way, I'm talking about this match because none of the other matches are done their first game yet.
I want you to really rudely interrupt as soon as one is done.
I'll let you know. We have a 3.5-minute overtime for FaZe Furia.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Jorby's poor heart during that one. Okay, well, I hope that Jorby's okay. Can people go and check in on him on that stream? You can open up a couple of tabs. Make sure that you're staying here on the main channel on /Rocket League. A bump on that back line sees an immediate opener for Optic Gaming. And look, Lemon, at Magic Bear's positioning and his movement around Atomic.
Yeah, he just had going on a date with Atomic and he just like forgot about the ball. So you hate to see that. But since we're going on the whole matey thing, are we saying hey bruv instead of hey bro? Like, are we just Englishifying everything?
It's Tuesday, isn't it?
We're gonna have words, you two. All right, I'm gonna make sure that you don't get away with this. This is absurd.
We could say hey bud for the Canadians out
Hey
there.
bud,
Well,
eh?
Hey bud.
Maple syrup, eh? That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that offensive? That felt offensive. That didn't feel okay. I'm going to stop. 30 seconds has gone. It's Optic Gaming and myself trying to work back into the car so I don't get told off and get pulled into a tribunal.
Right as you try to do that, I'm interrupting you as you told me to.
Do it. Be rude.
Furia win the overtime against FaZe Clan.
Oh.
Thank you. Why is your rude voice like a sewer man?
Imagine Jorby's voice right now with 3.5-minute overtime.
Oh gosh, I don't want to. Yeah, but you know it's also going to be brilliant because it's Jorby. It'll be annoyingly good and he'll say some fun metaphor and everyone will love him. That's the Jorby
Annoyingly
recipe.
good.
Yeah, it'll be so frustratingly good. Yeah, Rettles trying to be frustratingly good on that dual demo again, where those getting one decent shot and then following up past the ball and just letting it fall behind you and you clear the way for it. Seems to be the way that Optic Gaming want to go, especially with those bumps that we've seen coming in from a couple of players over on Optic now. Not every single, or none of the bumps really are tracked either, so if we're seeing Rettles with that many demos on his side, it just means that he's gone faster into those connections with the opposition. But those bumps are going to be coming in even more so than demos, I imagine. With a pinch now going into that back corner, it's G2 to try and push something.
And that's the thing. How did G2 transition downfield with the ball because they're good at patrolling and having that midfield presence, but as soon as it goes to the blue end, it seems tough. But when you strike quick, you strike hard, and G2 get one on the board.
Atomic's MO is strike quick, strike hard, and with that reset from the ceiling, he can sneak it around the back of AJ. The net finds itself open, but he found probably the only angle that AJ wasn't covering, considering the proximity of his car on defense to Atomic when he strikes. A great bump from Magic Bear to get Atomic away from that shooting opportunity too. And look at Rettles immediately chasing Chicago, then leaves it into a 1v1. Sure, a goal doesn't come from it, but it means that those players on the ground are going to feel even more scared. But with JNAP's returning fire, it is artillery strikes on both sides of Forbidden Temple.
And important, this match just this run overall is so important to both teams. Like, if Optic Gaming wins and moves on very far, that really solidifies their chances at Worlds and Majors, while as G2, it lets them keep pace with complexity in the fight for the World's main event spot. And Optic have outscored a lot of their opponents in the last couple of games. So we talked about that big momentum for Optic, now found themselves behind in game 2. Although they've let some gaps through from G2 that have been so good at exploiting it.
Rettles sitting quite low down on that scoreboard, but as has been the current conversation in Rocket League, you can't look at the stats all the time to determine just who has been doing the better job. And so we're going to be seeing Rettles doing a lot more off-ball play, which very unfortunately is not credited in Rocket League. Everything is going to be to do with the ball, and so Magic Bear will continue with that ball, but instead he's going to be intercepted by JNAP. It's a good chance for AJ to intercept there, however, from that sidewall. Banks on the Chicago miss, but Chicago, he does not miss. And so Rettles with one pass down, a faked pass down actually, and Magic Bear still able to return fire on that play. It is very physical at every single juncture in this game.
Great save by Rettles in that 2-on-1 or 1v2 situation where G2, if they go slow downfield, then it's easy for Optic to challenge and then take away the ball. If G2 go too fast, then mechanically it's hard to control the ball. But if G2 find that sweet spot, that's how they're able to score. Chicago protects the back wall well. Optic might have to incorporate more demos like they did in game 1 to create the space that they need. But so far, Magic Bear and Rettles working the left side. Great clear by Atomic.
Final 90 seconds ticks its way down so tantalizingly for Optic Gaming. From that back ball, Magic Bear works the way out, relinquishes control of that ball. Chicago can receive as AJ punts it towards the backboard. The Rettles now missing that back corner boost, but he has more than enough. He's got 80 in, so he can leave it towards AJ, an intelligent boost lead for him there. And AJ using that boost to be going for these demos, ground pinch, but shut down by Chicago.
Have 5 shots to 4 in favor of Optic, but JNAP, as soon as G2 can move downfield, it feels like they have that number advantage where Chicago just is looking for the bump on Magic Bear, wants to dodge it.
I love seeing, honestly, at every single chance, every single opportunity that they have got to go for one player with ball and one player to demo, both teams go for it. It's choreographed, but it's so hard to avoid, even if you know it's coming. AJ flipping into Atomic there and removing him from the pitch entirely. Under a minute remaining, this is G2 with the 2-goal lead that they do not want to relinquish.
AJ coming in quick. JNAPS waits in the corner. Magic Bear receives the rebound. And Atomic still trying to look for the clear. Rettles interrupted there by Chicago. G2 making the space. Second touch is important here. The 50 just pops up. And Atomic is ready to pass to JNAPS. The redirect is wide.
That would have been beautiful, but the final 30 seconds is going to still see Rettles. Not own goal. It may well have been Magic Bear in the end, actually, because Rettles sends it high. He sees Magic Bear there, like, okay, right, I can clear this away. No problem. He's going to wait for that hit. Magic Bear, no, what are you doing? No, you signed the Optic Gaming contract, not the G2 contract, you silly Billy Bear. 3 goals clear are G2. This second game is going to be near enough finished, and I'm sure T-Bates now is being weirdly confident.
Yeah, we can call him Silly Bear up until he makes up for it, right? But to see Optic down 1-4 after game 1 tells you just how close the series can be and how G2 have found the secret sauce, the recipe to crack just this aggression from Optic by just ignoring them and passing Chicago almost all the way down. Magic Bear saves, but this game will end 4-1, 5-1 in favor of G2.
And we said it'd go the distance. We said it would probably go to 5. It still feels like there's that chance for it to go to 5. And 5 goals going the way of G2. A brilliant turnaround for them after Game 1 still being a very good result for them, still being a close result rather for G2 in that first game, and they've also got one of the best decals in the game. Look at those beautiful rainbows.
And Leaf, I guess you can interrupt this decal simping for something.
No, I'm doing the same thing. It's a great decal.
Oh, God.
It's really good. I use it.
Yeah, that and the Dignitas one. Those two those are fantastic decals. I'll let you know, Space Station and Gen G are in overtime in Game 2. And Space Station actually was the winner of Game 1. Yeah, that's good for them. And Complexity V1 are still in their second game. And Complexity, the former regional champs from the Open, are down down 0-1 to version 1. They took Game 1. So close series, honestly, across the board here. We have a 4-2 score line in favor of, I believe it's FaZe Clan in Game 2 of their match. So that could end up being a tied series. Across the board, great quarterfinals going on in the upper bracket. So again, as Stumpy's been saying, make sure you get into your team streams and watching these on them. I have all of them up. You only need like 2 monitors to do this. So just even one, you can put them in 4 corners. It's great. It's fantastic.
And that FaZe match is very important. Previously, they lost to Space Station in the upper bracket quarterfinals, which is where we find ourselves right now. However, they then lost the lower bracket round 2. Yes, they went up against G2. It was a very, very tough team to play against. But that's what then led them into their current 8th position. It is a really tough format, double elimination. You need to be doing well. FaZe, they cannot let it drop again because other teams will be taking those even more points that we're seeing given out along spring and going to be running away from them. FaZe, if you're a fan of them, you should probably go and watch that team stream because they are going to be in dire need of your support to make sure they don't let this one flop.
Already a crazy quarterfinal, crazy goal by Atomic as well. So G2 will be up. But our top 3 of Complexity, FaZe, Gen G down in the first game of the quarterfinals. So instead of following the script of the first round, it feels like it's been flipped on its head.
People say that Europe is crazy. People say that we have ridiculous results, and yes, we do. Of course we do. But North America, you've got some weirdo results in you as well, especially in such an explosive and turbulent format as double elimination. So if you are a fan of any of these teams, please go and watch those team streams. A lovely shot from Magic Bear, trying to entice you to stay on this one. That bottom right corner, however, was completely defended. Magic Bear trying to receive the ball from Retos, tapping it towards the backboard after JNaps's pretty terrifying shot, sending 2 players to it. Chicago towards the mid again, with JNaps just 15 it alongside AJ. The midfield finds itself home again to pressure from both sides.
Ooh. Yeah, I like the demo, but then G2 just left the station when I felt like they could have brought the pain train. They could have brought that momentum. You had this 3-on-2, you had boost, and now you get scored on. Feels like G2 missed out on that opportunity.
I like AJ here, just seeing that demo comes in and then wait. Knows that Magic Bear can't get a shot in there because both Atomic and JNaps were both defending on that play. Just has to wait, can then tap it out wider, and AJ's got that brilliant slice across shot opportunity, can take it. Optic with a nice quick return to form.
Magic Bear needs to be intercepted in the sky. Bird has been shot down, so 10-4 bogey. But Optic, that offense is at least met its match when it comes to this series. Optic were fire in Game 1. Rettles, yeah, the backboard well protected there from G2. We still sit at 1-1 with now the counterattack from G2. A pass to the box, redirect from Atomic. It's disgusting.
God, you can smell that play through your screen right now. Everybody take a nice deep whiff and just experience what JNaps gave to Atomic there. It was beauty on a plate, and Atomic has frisbeed it through the window, making it 2 for G2. An outstanding team play from the boys. There's a lot of metaphors there, I'm apologizing.
No, I just heard such a weird sound like during that goal, and I'm just not going to bring attention to it. So G2 up by 1. Does Optic have the ball? Coming in quick. Off the back wall, though, G2 have not let Optic get any rebounds off of it. Now the counterattack where Atomic leads that charge. No corner boost, but a friend behind him. It's Chicago applying the pressure. But as Atomic kind of split off to the other side, G2 lost grip of this whole situation.
What a counterattack this is going to be from JNaps to Atomic. Back to the Chicago, into the blue goal. A 1-2-3 play spanning the entirety of the pitch.
Chicago.
That's beautiful.
Disgusting double tap, but it's G2 who haven't let their backboard be used, and you wish Optic did the same thing, but if you don't have time to get into that position, it is what it is. G2 with the game 2 win, 5-1. Now go into the second half with a 2-goal lead, which is pretty cozy. As Atomic just goes up to the sky, has a friend to the right. Chicago doesn't go for the boost, but keeps ball possession. The JNAPs can't center it out. Now the third man might be summoned out as Atomic patrols the midfield.
I mean, bear in mind that the result that we saw back in the Spring Open was in the lower bracket quarterfinals. G2 lost to Optic Gaming in 6 games. It was a 4-2 in the end. G2 really looking back at those replays, knowing what they need to do versus Optic because they have looked like the better team so far. AJ setting that one high, but Magic has to burn about 40 boosts just to get to it. AJ wants to continue from that play. Unfortunately, though, no chance for them to be getting a goal. And with JNAPs just keeping putting on that pressure, rather, it's going to just be no chances operating for them just yet. Under 90 seconds remaining. And this is G2 controlling every single touch of the play.
Oh, AJ, good touch, good dribbles, but right to the defender's hands. And G2's offense has looked so improved as the pass to JNAPs almost goes to the corner. Now the counterattack from Optic. AJ coming in with a lot of speed. Optic need a response, as after game 2, they only scored once there, and this is following the same kind of storyline. Magic Bear and AJ defending this for now, but on top of the ball is G2 applying the pressure now. JNAPs getting chased around. Still haven't found the winning strike. Chicago's shot missed too.
As Rethel's being able to get that save away, keeping it at just 2, but 40 seconds. Optic going to need a goal as soon as they humanly can. Towards the right wing, Chicago sends the ball as Atomic sends Magic Bear to the graveyard. 30-second marker ticked down. That sound in Optic's mind's ringing as an alarm for them. Optic can't quite get a touch on that ball as Atomic sends it central. Chicago now with no boost shies away, but these seconds being wasted. No boost is needed, and the game control continuing to fall the way of G2. The final 10 now.
Yeah, Optic got that demo, and you thought that would relieve some pressure. They're still making the space, but with the seconds that they have left, Optic just don't have a chance to come back. At least you can make it look close in the bracket. No, Atomic robs them of that chance, as G2 will now come back in the series and go to match point.
Leaf, my man, my Canadian compadre. What's going on?
See, wait. Hello, yes. I'm watching games.
Good.
Version 1. Hey, look, they're about to go to match point, just so you know. It's 1-1 right now against Complexity, and they're up 2-0. Still 2.5 minutes left in the game 3, but that's fun. Again, Complexity, a team that was rocking the last regional, being put down. We talked about it. I mean, for Com, this is a huge, in my opinion, a huge time for him to continue to prove his position on that team. And you even saw him in the match we were watching before. He was looking great, which is fantastic. We have an overtime again for FaZe Furia. So if you're not watching that, please get over there and watch that match. That is a very intense.
The 4-minute one? Oh, man. Poor Joey.
Yeah. No, another overtime.
Joey's hot. Gosh.
So good matchup there. And then we do have Space Station Gaming at match point against Gen G. Just so you know.
Wait, is that 2-0?
It is 2-0 right now. Gen G is up 2-0 on the scoreline with 2.5 left in game 3, so they could bring this around, but it is still match point for SSG.
That's a very exciting series. If anyone wants to head over and watch that one, that is either /Widow if you want to hear Widow and Dazarin go at it, or /Space Station if you want to be hearing Lethamir do his best to try to keep us, I guess, somewhat composed, because that is a huge result for FSG if they're going to be able to do it. Bear in mind they're 4th right now in these rankings. They can push Gen G to the lowers. They won't need to challenge them again for quite a while. But here on the main stream, we have Optic versus G2, and G2 currently 2-1 up in the series, doing a fantastic job of shutting down any of these demos that come their way. They are not being phased so far.
Yeah, it feels like G2 have found how to stop Optic's offense, and I guess saving a very close shot like that is the start of that. JNAPs wins the challenge to Chicago, to the back wall. AJ, oh, that's not a great pinch right into the box. Magic Bear scoops it up, though, before G2 could react.
Atomic has been the best player so far for G2. Like, I feel like we could say that for the last half year or so. Not as a slight to Chicago or JNaps, but just Atomic is that good. But with the caliber of Chicago and JNaps alongside him, he is still that man who is defensively and offensively one of the GOATs of Rocket League. So exciting for G2 to be seeing him on as well. Chicago trying to pass it around, does get one demo, but AJ manages to stand just firm enough to stay alive in that challenge. AJ trying to bump Chicago out the way, and you see what those challenges do to them as well. The ball immediately relinquished by Chicago because he knows that the demo is going to be coming in.
And Optic, I mean, that's how they were able to thrive so well in game one, is being confident, being physical. Reddles trying to set up this ball, or at least grab corner boost, do something productive, but the ball is given right back to G2 in that moment. And it's back and forth we go. Atomic kicks it off again, midfield for Optic, as everyone's just scrambling for boost. And Reddles scrambles back and respawn, 3-on-2 for G2, as JNaps goes forward.
2 minutes have elapsed, no goals yet. I believe we've seen a goal scored in the first couple of minutes in all 3 games we've seen so far. A chance there as JNaps misses one, and then Rettel staying grounded, knows that JNaps comes in for the demo and does not give him the satisfaction. Magic Bear over one, and the first goal is scored.
It's a tough deposit to do when going all the way downfield by yourself. You get above Atomic, sort of bumping him off the ball too. Chicago realizes too late that he has to dive for it. And a beautiful deposit from Magic Bear with what he was facing in that moment. Gives Optic the first goal, but they haven't been able to get more than one in these last 2 games. So can they kind of regain that confidence? We've talked about the Optic regain. It has to happen in this game because it's match point for G2.
Halfway through in G2, they're needing to just get one to make sure that Optic aren't going to get too confident in this 4th game. Imagine we're flicking over one, then getting the quick jump up to clear away a shot. It does get intercepted. Instead, actually, Rettles gets there. The JNaps misses one chance. Chicago sees a player central, not able to get the touch in as AJ clears away. And JNaps realizing to get the boost and then to take it back, just slow down the game a little bit more is the better option rather than continuing to go for that big pressured offense.
At least Optic are winning the challenges. Magic Bear goes to bump JNaps, who jumps above it, goes for ball control instead. Reddles almost gives Optic a chance, as at least Magic Bear back passes to keep possession, but that doesn't really work out. Optic weren't expecting it. JNaps always finds a way to creep up on you and rob you of the ball and gives these opportunities to G2, but haven't found a chance to score yet.
We find ourselves right on the precipice of the final 90 seconds, and JNaps sends Magic Bear to the precipice. I was going to say a really cool line, but then I messed up my wording, so I'm just going to stop now. Anyway, minute 20, Magic Bear with an open net. He saved the day for me. He's saving the game so far for Optic.
Quick look, shiny colors, Magic Bear scored. He's no longer Silly Bear. Makes the magic happen for Optic, who desperately need the comeback in Game 4 to force the Game 5, which it's been a lot of close matches already in the quarterfinals, and G2 thought they had this offensive Optic locked under lock and key, but here comes G2 with a response, at least to get this ball away from Optic would be the game plan. Chicago starts the drive. Reddles and Magic Bear hold on just barely. No one on the left side. Atomic late to the challenge, and G2 will see if they can keep the pressure on.
These deft touches from G2 as well, keeping Optic from speeding at the ball exactly as they want to, but no goals coming from it until Magic Bear can try to get the dunk on JNaps, isn't quite able to. JNaps unfairly not credited with the save there, even though he definitely did save that ball away to send it midfield. Atomic can't intercept before Magic Bear gets there. That one going back towards that midfield, and G2, although they're getting touches, they're not getting too much possession, and they're definitely not getting goals. Final 30 seconds is going to see G2 chasing a double.
30 seconds left. This next play for G2 has to happen. They can at least break out of their own end if they want to make this close. But man, demos across the board. Everyone's looking unstructured as Reddles slows down the play. AJ finds a moment to challenge and see if he could spark up an offense for Optic, or at least drain these precious seconds from G2 to not allow game or a 3-1 potential, as Optic seconds away from going to Game 5. A big comeback for them after Game 1.
I mean, the series really has just been back and forth so far. This one being a much closer 2-0 but it was a 3-1 in the first to Optic, then a 5-1, then a 3-1 to G2. They outscored 8 goals to 2 in those middle couple. Game 5, Lemon, we're geniuses. We said it'd go to 5, we said it'd be close, but we did not know just how much we were going to be seeing from both Magic Bear and Atomic right at the top of their respective scoreboards.
Yeah.
Leaf, my dear friend, my
getting Rick-rolled right now, Leaf. Leaf, save us.
Oh, okay. How are you doing? Not much, you? I'm great.
What? Answer your own question.
Space Station is up 1-0 right now, and they're on the match point. 2.5 left. Up 2 goals now against Gen G. So Gen G is looking like they might end up down the lower bracket pretty early on. Version 1 up 3-1 with 3.5 minutes left at match point against Complexity. Complexity might end up down in that lower bracket sooner than we thought.
Complexity and Gen G in the lowers would be absurd.
That's what I'm saying. And still a good match going on with Fury and FaZe. Fury up 4-2 with 1:22 left. They might bring that to a game 5, so we might have another game 5 going on. But lots of great upper bracket quarterfinals right now.
Joey's pure. Joey's pure and poor heart. That man is going to be struggling through if that ends up going to FaZe Clan that way. But in this first game, in 3 seconds, Magic Bear with an immediate outplay. The Golden Phoenix rising from the net. And Magic Bear, a lot of people are saying, feed him, feed the bear. That man is feasting on G2 Dreams.
Oh, yeah, and he's coming out of hibernation. He had both goals for Optic in the last game. We go to game 5, Magic Bear with a quick start. And yeah, after Complexity won the Open, you are definitely not expecting them or teams like Gen G who are in the grand finals against them to be in the lower bracket. And just when you thought, okay, if I lose the first match, you're supposed to have an easier road through the lower bracket, but not so much.
I mean, you lose your first match and you think, oh, okay, you know what? I'll be against some other teams. I've had some, one of the big 4 matchups. And then suddenly there's these 2 giant, bodybuilder behemoths standing in your way, just like on the Optic goal line. But you've got Complexity and Gen G down there, potentially. A terrifying prospect. But what defense from Optic Gaming, staying incredibly stoic on that goal line, keeping this pressure, continuing at G2. But a shot wide gives AJ a chance to send it out. But the boost is starting to regain on the side of Optic, and G2 had a good couple of chances, but no goal coming their way.
Yeah, J-Naps has become my favorite player to watch when it comes to the side of G2. Just kidding, it's Rettles. I take all of that back. Rettles doesn't just demo, he scores too.
Rettles medals with the G2 defense. Taking it to the floor, back over the top of J-Naps. Minute 15, Optic Gaming are starting a romp towards that Game 5 victory and the upper bracket semi-final date with the winner of Complexity V1.
Oh, J-Naps almost dropping that, even with the demo and everything. The ball goes all the way down, so this 3-on-2 for G2 has gone away. And AJ, you gotta rob them of this ball. This goes to Magic Bear, who just clears it. G2 unlucky that they weren't at the right place at the right time to find an immediate response. Still lots of time, but Optic dominant right out the gate.
Optic have definitely had a different game plan going to this next one. A lot fewer bumps I feel like we're seeing, and a lot more individual solo mechanical plays. AJ taking a cross-come shot there, neither a shot, neither a pass, and a demo for Atomic coming in to remove Rettles from the net, but the G2 shot isn't going to be precise enough to find its way in on the opportunity, unfortunately for them. 2 minutes have elapsed. We approach half-time, and Optic Gaming are the better team in the 5th.
They sure have ramped up after an upsetting Game 2 and Game 3 for Optic, only scoring once, but then able to shut out G2 in Game 4. And J-Naps has been a huge spark plug when it comes to G2, but needing to tuck this to the upper 90. A close save by Rettles. Chicago applying the pressure, loses the 50. Now the response to the counterattack from Magic Bear goes for bumps. Still not enough.
The Bear feeding on bumps in that orange half. Isn't able to get a goal from it this time, but still terrifying the defense in the air. Retals getting one bump on Atomic. AJ shying away from that shot there, knowing that as a third man, you don't need to commit, especially when you've got 2 goals to the good. You don't need to be conceding one cheeky runaway and getting that confidence back in the favor of G2. Retals intercepts, beats out the offending player on G2 by a decent margin. JNuts below 1 with a reset. Can't get it below AJ on that chance. Final 90 seconds approaches quickly, and Optic, with every second, they find themselves closer to that semis.
And it's not that G2's offense is inexistent. I think there's 7 saves now recorded for Optic, who have played an incredible defense so far. Chicago just has Magic Bear in the net, just tries to force his way through. Magic Bear, not only just a bear, but a wall in front of the net. Rattles with the demo, weakens G2's attack, who need to make something happen in the next 90 seconds, or they'll choke this game 5 after being on match point.
Yeah, going 2-1 up in the series, then losing 3-2. Yeah. That is a scary place to be. AJ flicking over 1, keeping this pressure going. Optic Gaming are going to be turning it up with every second that elapses. JNuts, though, that's on target, but AJ, he's going to be standing firm in the goal. JNuts shoots high and wide, but a pass instead. Chicago can shoot. JNuts want to continue this pressure. We saw G2 unable to score from this pressured situation previously in this very game.
Optic's defense just so good. See, save after save, no matter how many bodies G2 commits to this. And then you get almost a random open net there. 37 seconds, though. Optic only up by 2. Rattles demos. G2 panics, passes it downfield, but you won't be making it much further into the blue end.
Final 25 seconds. Rettel sends it high. AJ trying to get one more for the road. Shaved away by Atomic. Chicago back central. Passes it to Atomic. That savior from just a few seconds ago. 15 seconds remain. JNuts into that back corner. Atomic with a loose touch. JNuts now needs to get a chance. But with every second that goes, Optic Gaming find themselves closer. G2, with no chance to bring this one back, allow Optic back into the series, and they allow Optic that date in the upper bracket semi-finals. Another lower bracket run is needed for the G2 army.
But look at these stats. Oh, they're all gone. But it was like, oh, I get to do the math. Oh, they're on my screen now. Look at 15 shots by G2 to like double-digit saves by Optic. G2 did everything they could, and that 0 does not represent how hard G2 worked, but Optic's defense was relentless and untouchable. Leave. That was a fun game 5. Bates can eat it. This was fun to cast.
He's crying right now.
I was going to ask for an impression. Yeah, what's he saying right now?
Oh, I can't believe it.